This is where lives are changed.
Everything behind it and the science. How can you deny this?
They've poured their heart and soul into it and into the research.
I said that we were going to clear the table, and whatever these kids needed for reading was going to come first.
His life going forward will be completely different than if he had not received dyslexia therapy.
It really is the best. I love my job.
I'm the PK-8 principal here at Skyline Schools. This is my 9th year here. I was previously a teacher, of course, and through a series of weird events ended up as an administrator. Opportunities and needs for this district specifically arose, and so I jumped in.
Here's your word. Slim. Okay, ready? Help.
The thought of sending someone to training, it was an answer to a lot of questions and concerns I've had for a long time.
She right? Yeah. Very good. Let's give her a hand. Very good.
My name is Carrie Harold, and I currently teach 2nd grade. I feel like I'm a pretty competent teacher. I've been teaching for a number of years. I stay up on the latest research, and I felt like I was doing everything that I should be doing, but there was just something missing. Like I just couldn't seem to get my students to make growth at the rate that they really needed to close the gaps.
I'm thinking of one specific student who, when we had his IEP meeting when he was in middle school, it was time for reevaluation, and his scores were just devastating. We had a remote school psychologist running the meeting. I stayed on afterwards and said, I just need to know. This seems profound to me, what's going on, and by all accounts, this kid is going to leave us as a high school senior and be illiterate in the workforce. And she said, yes, unless you do something dramatic. I went to our superintendent at the time and I framed it up, do you trust me? And she said, sure. And I said, no, I mean, do you trust me with some money to do something maybe a little out of the ordinary? And she said, yes.
Ah.
That one's a newer one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Michelle Schmidt, for me, was the obvious choice. She's a very passionate human about reading, and so I went to her and asked her if she would consider making a move out of the classroom and kind of doing this unknown thing to us.
Last year they came to me and they asked if I wanted to go through the alphabetic phonics program, and I thought, yes. I had just had some kids that I knew I could only get so far, and I needed more tools in my toolbox.
So why we're all in the group is we're all obviously dyslexic. There was only one 5th grader that was tested with dyslexia, and then there were 2 6th and 1 7th and 1 8th. So they decided to put us all together in one group. Sometimes we will do the quartiles with the quartiles in the dictionaries, and we'll do stuff like coding, and then at the end we normally read.
I didn't want her to go get the training and then come back and we try to fit it into public school model. The table was totally cleared off. I wanted her to go get the training and come back and tell me what we needed to do for kids.
I will say the first 3 or 4 days I was kind of like, you know, what did I get myself into, to be honest? You know, this is a lot. And then all of a sudden, everything just started to fall into place. Everything we were learning, it made sense. My hope was when I went to training is I would get those tools to be able to reach those kids that I just couldn't move on the spectrum, you know. I was very pleasantly surprised when I got back and actually put everything into action, how the whole program just builds on itself. We decided that, you know, reading is important, and that's got to be our first line. And I went to Diane and she just said, how much time do you need? And I said an hour, and she said, you got it.
Initially we thought maybe it'll be 30 minutes or it'll be a few times a week. And she said, I really think they need an hour a day, 5 days a week. Took a little bit of time to think about it and then came back and said, here's what we're gonna do. I said that we were gonna clear the table and whatever these kids needed for reading was gonna come first.
I was both excited and nervous about what that would look like in the classroom. We were assured this was essential and vital, and the investment was going to be worth it, and I have definitely seen that. It's not been an issue for me to put in a little extra work to make sure that these students are making gains in all areas of the day because they are growing tremendously in their reading skills.
We understood too we needed to educate our entire staff about the implications of this literacy crisis. And so we began there making plans of educating, making it everybody's concern, making it everybody a part of the team for the solution. So that laid the foundation for teachers to be okay with her coming and getting them in the middle of some other important lesson, and we'll figure it out. And we've figured it out. I'm sure there was resistance behind closed doors initially, but it didn't take very long before they too saw what I saw with these students the previous year. It's not that their scores went from way behind to, oh, now we're on grade level, but we began to see kids blossom, confidence.
Last year, it was a struggle bus for me. I have to admit, it was hard for me to read. When I found out that I was dyslexic, I was kind of shocked. And then when I got these lessons, like my grades, right now, I have straight A's right now. I improved a lot.
I just didn't like school at the time at all. And then once we started doing this class, and I realized that it's not my fault that I wasn't really good at reading, I thought that it was the greatest thing in the world, because now I'm able to read in class, read 3 paragraphs in class out loud to everybody well, and it's changed my life.
For a middle school boy to come in and share that, but he was so proud of himself. Our counselor, she's at the door every day watching kids come in, and she just talks about some of my kids that come in now, and their head is held high, they're bouncing in, they're smiling, they're happy to be here, but they feel success. And the confidence I see in them is just amazing. And these kids, my middle school group especially, and I think because they've struggled for so long, now that they know they're dyslexic, and they know what it is, and they know they're not alone, it's like a badge of honor. This is what I am.
Dyslexia is not a disease. It's not contagious at all.
It's a superpower.
Exactly.
It's a superpower.
Specifically, I have one student who came in reading at his fall screener was 12 words per minute, is now reading 74 words a minute. So that is not yet grade level, but that is huge. This is where lives are changed. This is proof that his life going forward will be completely different than if he had not received dyslexia therapy.
We're at the end of April, and it's been phenomenal. No doubt about it, Michelle's gonna continue. She's gonna go get her training this summer. I have a teacher who is going to start this journey in June, and she will be focused on K1 needs. She will have a small classroom built specifically around these kids that we now can identify as at least struggling readers. There's so much science out there that we can sit there and say, man, it's your brain. It's just how it's structured, and now we know how to meet that need. We just didn't before.
We need more dyslexia therapists in the schools. There are at least 2 more students in my classroom that should be receiving therapy, and we were full. So the schools would definitely benefit from the service that she's providing.
I wish, my regrets is I wish I would have known this back when I started, because I thought I was a good reading teacher, and now I found out how much I did not know. And if I would have had that knowledge way back, how many more kids I could have helped. And it is just, I think the time commitment is very minute for what you get from it.